I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to the social hour of Batman on Film podcast, batman-on-film.com. I am the founder of Batman on Film. Bill, Jett, Ramey. Let's ride. Verra's back, riding alongside of me.
Just ride into my Robin sidecar.
Right in the inside car. Yes, absolutely. I'm on a horse and I have a horse sidecar.
Oh yeah, I guess so, because you're in Texas, so we have to.
Yes, right.
Horse and
That's all we have here for transportation is horses and carriages and all that whole 9 yards.
That's
all right.
And Bill's wearing his 20-gallon hat right now.
I am wearing a Texas hat. So take that for what you will. So, all right. What the hell's been going on?
Oh, I just I dove into the world of Rebel Moon last night on Netflix.
All right, that's
just experiencing that.
That's enough of that. Okay.
But other than that, the Yankees are doing good. Baseball season's underway.
Yeah. The Rangers.
Batman comics are bad.
Yes, we're going to get to Batman comics. Thank you for that segue here in a second. But the Rangers are piddling around above 500, and
they beat Atlanta last night.
Yeah, still in first place. Yeah, but they lost the first two. Atlanta's pretty damn good. I watched both those games. I watched all three.
Yeah.
Yesterday. Yeah. The Mavs stunk it up yesterday in the first round playoff game, lost to the Clippers, and then NFL draft is Thursday. So, woo, yeah.
What about the Stars?
Woo-hoo.
The Stars are leading the pack in the NHL. No love for them.
That would be probably of those three, between the Rangers, Mavericks, NFL draft, Stars would still be number 4. Still need number 4.
Interesting. I know around here the Knicks and Rangers won, so everyone's feeling the buzz. They won their first playoff game. So
the Stars are playing the Vegas Knights.
Vegas is good.
What the hell are they? The Knights?
The
Black
Vegas
Knights.
Golden Knights. Golden they Knights. Wanted to be called the Black Knights because the owner is a big fan of West Point, but they knocked that down. So he went Golden Knights. I guess.
Oh, so West Point wouldn't allow that. They got that copyright on it, or what?
I don't know if it's a copyright or just the fact that it's Sin City and gambling, and maybe they're the last old school institution left. Well, college students and gambling. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't.
Speaking of Sin City and gambling, I have a Jake Ramey update.
Is Jake Ramey in Sin City?
No, he was.
Oh.
He went Thursday through Sunday. First time, went with his friends. Well, there's probably 8 guys went.
He's a blackjack man, isn't
he? He was. Now he claims he's a craps man.
Look, Jake, he's a man of all trades.
Yeah.
He's a Swiss Army knife, that kid.
So I think they stayed at Paris, and he also claims when he got home yesterday that he had 10 hours of sleep in 3 days. So
he's a party animal. It must have been like The Hangover.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, you get him on a podcast, talk about that. It'll last about 15 seconds. Yeah. No, 15 seconds.
Jake, how was your trip? Good. Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on.
That would be it. All right. Yeah, and it was damn near in the 30s this morning here. Can you believe it?
Man, did you guys close schools?
No icy precipitation of any sort, so everything was fine. But
all right, no hail, nothing, no snowballs.
Nope.
Did you ever have a snow day growing up as a young Texan in elementary, middle school?
In first grade, we got sent home because there was a ice storm, snowstorm came, and they sent us home. And then for the rest of them, so no. But as during my coaching teaching career, I had a couple occasions where big ice storm came in, shut everything down. I mean, it's bad ones where you're out 2 weeks because there's no electricity.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Well, they don't have the infrastructure. I mean,
I know that. It's funny because growing up as a kid,
yeah.
snow days were like the big thing, especially
I know. Announcer Rachel from Minnesota. I'm.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you got a little bit.
I'm aware. You have all the power lines are mostly above ground. So if you get into like East Texas and you're in the piney woods and all of that with a lot of trees, and that trees ice over fall down.
Yep.
The lines are down, and it's a nightmare. That's ice storms, and then hurricanes will take care of that. And that's down in Southeast Texas or down the coast. So where I grew up.
Is that by Groves, Texas?
Groves, Texas. Yes, sir.
There you go.
Yes, sir. All right. Google that. Put that in the Google machine. Groves, Texas. Throw a rock, hit Louisiana.
There you go.
Right across
where gumbo came from.
Right across the Sabine River. Well, that area is called it's called the Cajun capital of Texas, Southeast.
That I did not know.
Texas. It is, yeah.
But I do know you got a little Cajun in you.
I do. Now, speaking of that, I can't get past or can't move on without talking a little about cooking. You sent me a text. You made this big. I said, "What's that? A roast?" And you said it was a London broil, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have to tell me because I don't know. I'm aware of its existence, but not really the specifics of what it is, how you cook it, and whatnot.
I actually think traditionally a London broil is actually cooked like a pot roast or a roast. To be honest with you,
okay.
But it's a big cut of meat. It's a nice big cut, and always growing up, my mom would buy it, and she'd slice it up, and we'd have a nice little steak sliced up for dinner. Why not? So. I bought a London broil. I gave it a butter bath. I let it marinate for a couple days in some butter and rosemary, and I put it on the grill last night. Actually, cut it up. It was really good.
Oh, you grilled it? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I put it on. It makes a nice grilled steak, actually. In the ends it gets a little well, but in the middle it's really good, juicy red.
Okay, I got you. So you cook it kind of like a steak, right?
Yeah, it's nice. If you cut it thinly, it makes a really nice dinner steak, I think.
Can you cook? You talked about roast. Can you cook it? Can you do it like an oven type of? Yeah,
I believe that's what. I think that's where the broil comes part of the name. Like it's like either you roast it or you broil it.
Okay.
But my whole life it's funny because a lot of people have that reaction. Like, you grill London broil? I'm like, yeah, you should try it. It's really good. And it's not usually an expensive cut of meat either. But like back in the day, flank steak used to be cheap, and now it's expensive as hell. So I don't know the trends, but it's a good cut if you ask me. Especially for a family. If you want steak on a family budget, I think London broil is the way to go.
Okay. Interesting. Anything else you cooked lately you want to mention?
No, that was it.
Okay. I did and I'm telling you, I will never go back to the stove. The range. I will not. I
called you the other day about this. Yeah.
I made a gumbo because it got a little cool here, even though it's April. And I said, I'm getting where it's going to be too hot here shortly. So I'm going to make a gumbo. And I smoked it. And I'm telling you, I'm not cooking it on top of the stove again. I'll smoke it.
That smoky flavor really came through, huh?
Oh, man, it was good. I smoked the sausage. I smoked the chicken first. I even did the vegetables.
How long did it take you to do? That's a long day.
It takes about you put the chicken in there. I let it marinate overnight. I put it, like get a Shiner Bock beer, which is Texas beer. Can y'all get Shiner up there in Jersey? Okay. It's brewed in Texas, but marinate in Shiner Bock and some spices, and then overnight, and then I smoked it. And I only put it in there. I do it like a faster cook. Not, I don't do it for several hours. About an hour. It's ready. Take it out. Sausage doesn't take long. Andouille sausage. The vegetables didn't take long. I even did the roux in there.
Wow. So you were basically out of the kitchen the whole day. You were outside.
I was outside instead of cutting stuff up. And
That's
I
good.
did I did the roux because you can make a roux in the oven. There's a trick to it. Instead of doing it on the stove, you can do it in the oven. So I took that process.
How do you stir it though? You gotta have like a long spoon, I guess.
And that one took a little longer. Because you got to turn the temperature down.
Yeah.
You just put it in there with canola oil and the flour, and you stir it up and put it in the oven. In this case, grill smoker. I think like at about 225.
Okay.
And just open it up and stir it up every once in a while. And it takes about an hour or so. And it'll be the dark. It'll turn into that dark. I was pure experiment because I never done it before. But it worked. And then I just added everything.
That sounds good.
Put it in at 225 and let it cook for 2 or 3 out 4 hours. Oh man.
Oh wait, two things though. One point, Shiner Bach used to sponsor the Yankees. That's actually how I know about that.
Is that right? Okay.
They used to sponsor the Yankees radio broadcast. Two, I forgot to say, I made an amazing bolognese sauce this week. Really fantastic. I took some ground beef. I took a sirloin steak, and I took some of these. I got these. They were frozen, and they were like these. I forget what it was, but there's like these pinwheels, but it had basil and blah, blah, it was all wrapped up.
Yeah.
I put that in there, and I just cooked that for 4 hours, and tastes good.
You got to get on. I've been telling you, you got to get on that Meat Church. Shout out. This is not a sponsor.
I like their rubs. The
rubs. Meat Church. They got some great recipes. I got the smoked gumbo, not from them, but the idea because they do everything they cook. They do it in a smoker. And is that
Texas or is that Carolina barbecue? I can't remember.
That's Texas.
They're Texas.
Meat Church is 100%. Yeah, Texas.
Okay.
Barbecue. He's right down here. He's down the road here in North Texas. He's in Waxahachie. So
he's in what? He's in who's watching?
He's in Waxahachie, Texas.
Well, dang on it. Well, let's go get off Steve Hill and get on down there, boys. Come on.
Yeah.
No, Waxahachie, Texas. Woo-woo.
Waxahachie. Yeah, just in the southern part of the DFW.
The Rose Boys. We head up down to Waxahachie, Texas. Little meat church.
No, there's a little different. It's a good 6 hours, but 5 or 6 hours between Groves and Waxahachie.
You and Kowalski with these big states.
Yeah. So, anyway, Meat Church. That's how I got the idea because there's a couple of chilies I've cooked his recipe. Matt Pittman is the guy's name. Pittman. He's a damn barbecue guy. His last name's Pittman. What do you think?
Sounds like destiny.
Yeah. And I said, you smoke that chili, which is great. You got to try that too. And you smoke that chili, but I said, you can smoke a gumbo. You give that a go. It worked and it was good. All right.
I want to hear about some smoked hot dish next.
Well, I've done casseroles. I did a King Ranch casserole. And that would be a King Ranch hot dish up in Minnesota or in
there you go.
Garrett Grev, shout out Garrett Grev. Yeah, it's great. King Ranch casserole, smoked. Fantastic.
Right. That's it.
All right.
Final word.
All right. I want to have people getting all restless. Oh my God, they're having witty banter and we're not talking Batman. Well, you know what? Hold your damn horses here. Hold your damn horses, pal. We're going to have a little witty banter. Now we're going to talk some Batman. We're going to talk about Batman comics specifically because there's not much Batman on film to talk about, but I find this topic interesting because I don't know about you, Pete, but just other than the Black Label Batman stuff, Batman comics, and I can't speak for what's going on in any of the other characters, comic books over at DC, but the Batman comics are not good.
No, they're not. It's been a bad run, especially for the legacy titles. They're both both in the toilet right now. And it doesn't seem like Batman's going to get any better anytime soon. It seems like fail-safe's here through the summer. Through their blockbuster event, which
the Absolute Power, right? The Absolute Power
that's the name of it.
I just looked over
apparently now there's a female Brainiac and now Waller's involved in all of it. Which is fine. That's Waller.
I got a press release from DC and reading through it about it, and it's by Mark Waid and Michael Janin.
He's the artist.
Michael Janin or Mikhail?
I don't know. I just call him MJ.
Okay.
That's what I go with.
So anyway, they're have this big event, and it looks like to me that everyone's got all the the big characters, Superman, I think Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Hawkman, maybe they all got their version of failsafe now, or Amazo, or they got
that's kind of what I took out of it. Was
a robot version of them, and this is the kind of stuff I have no interest in whatsoever.
Well, I read a lot of these titles individually. It takes a lot for me to read up a team up book or an event book because, as a veteran reader, we all know the gimmicks the publishing companies like to do. They have their major crossover events, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinite Crisis, Final Crisis, 0 Hour, 0 Year, on and so forth, Convergence, Dark Crisis on Infinite Times, or whatever the hell the last one was called. And you just got to pick and choose and see what you like. I know from experience, like me, I get very cautious with these things post Convergence. I feel very burned out still by that. I spent a lot of money on that, and that was not good at all. And I got kind of bummed out, and I got, I only have myself to blame, but that's part of the run of being a comic. It's, I look back at it, and Nightfall, it's a big part of my childhood. Unlike some people here who don't like it as much as me, right? Nightfall, I go back and I collect everything about it. That was a huge part of my childhood. So when these big events come, I don't know if that's more nostalgia or me really loving something like Knighthood. Shout out to Hoss, Nightfall. You got to be a little bit picky and choosy. And I read Superman, I read action, I read Batman, I read detective. I didn't see them actually converging into this. Superman's got his Brainiac issues right now, and I'm kind of enjoying that. And Batman's got his own issues, and I'm not enjoying any of those. But I never thought they were going to combine into one. And I think Wade's been on a bit of a resurgence here as a writer since he's come back to DC. So I have faith in him and how he can juggle characters, especially since he's been doing the world's finest title, which has been phenomenal. Arguably the best Batman title in print, but he shares the book with Superman, so it's not a solo book, So I think Wade is a good writer. It just doesn't sound like it's my jam, mostly because I don't care about failsafe. Like they just didn't initially hook me, right? I didn't take the bait with selfish, so it's gonna be tough to sell me on probably what's going to be an $8 DC crossover title and tie-ins out the ass. Yeah, I'm probably not going to spend all this money on this one, guys. I'm sorry.
See, I grew up in this group. I cut my teeth when I really started reading comics instead of looking at them. But I was buying them before, and I'd look at the art and the pictures and stuff like that as a kid. But it got in the early 70s, the Batman and Detective, and even we pick up Brave and the Bold, occasionally. But those two, I'd pick it up, I'd read the issue, story would start, have a middle, had an ending, and then next month, whole different story, and the same thing in Batman, same thing in Detective. And it wasn't
your generation's a little bit different than mine.
Yeah, it wasn't until probably, I think, if you want to count Detective with the, during what's that? What do they call that? That when they released it together, there's a name for it. It's with Laughing Fish and all that run.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know. The
Marshall Rogers and Steve Englehart.
Yes.
Right. And they have a name for, I forget the name of when they collected it. There's a name for it. Anyway, that story with Hugo Strange and Silver St. Cloud and all that kind of was
my favorite.
A kind of a continuation. That was probably the closest it came to. But once you had Death of Superman and Nightfall, that's early 90s.
I think it happens earlier than that, Bill. I think Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Well, that
is what really started this kind of, let's say, my generation of storytelling. I'm born in 86. That story takes place, I believe, in 85. So basically from the point I'm born on, there's always been the summer event for DC Comics. They've always had it. Sometimes it falls flat on its face, and sometimes it's good. You every once in a while you get a Blackest Night, right? That happens. But I know we're trying to talk to Batman, but when they do this, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like recently, The last Williamson run, I think it was like Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think that was a decent success, but it hasn't replicated the early successes they've had in their crossovers. I feel like they're kind of getting their feet together here. There's a lot of transition, it seems like, with DC.
I mean, I was around for, came out in 80. I was 2021, so I was in college. And it was 19 or 20. And that was more of a individual thing. You know what I'm saying? The crisis itself, you didn't have it really in the individual books. And then it was just to reset because you had at that time, 50.
Yeah, I mean, just a mass amount of characters that were incorporated in that story.
And
I believe it was like the birth point of that.
And it wasn't like you had these huge events with one character over multiple books, and titles and all this stuff.
You're right. Death of Superman sounds like it's probably the starting point of the tie-in.
Yeah, it was that, yes. And that's when I got really started. That's why Nightfall to me is not, I mean, I think it's really good. It's not like, didn't have a big impact on me. And I think there's some parts of it's a little, I get it.
This is all I know.
Yeah.
This is all I know.
Yeah.
This is it.
And I think
I only know comics in one story. Everything else is like, even the stuff that you read that had a beginning and an end, that's pretty much just like a trade for me anymore, right? Like I can go back, collect the back issues, but I read that as like a trade as a complete story. Like very few issues have I read.
I would say that's fair that there's a lot of people that don't know anything, different,
Yeah.
And that kind of I like Nightfall. I thought the premise was really good. And then I think when you get to Night Quest and Night's End, and you had all these different freaking tie-ins.
There's definitely
it was it was too much. It was too much, and it was too long, and it was.
Well, you're spreading yourself thin.
Yeah,
all the tie-ins and everything. It's a lot of work on an editor, and a very good editor can pull it off and make it look effortless. And sometimes a lot of these, sometimes you have trouble. And I can't blame them for that because it's just, how do you keep track of all this? Like, how do you read all this stuff, right? Like, and make sure everything's within continuity. I imagine it's a very difficult job and it's very hard to do. I would love to see what a day in the office of a comic book editor would be like, to be honest with you.
This is why I like the Black Label stuff, because yes, it's probably the closest thing to the single issue we have right now, even though it's
has anything done more than 4 issues, Black Label?
4. I was about to say, is it 4? There's usually 4.
3 to 4, I feel like 3 to 4.
Yeah. So and then you get the collection, and it's not overly long and whatnot. And so that stuff, but it's really good. That stuff is really, those stories are really good. I don't know if there's anything I really haven't disliked that's been Black Label.
I can think of a couple. Not many, but I do have some misses.
Throw out some Batman ones that you weren't particularly fond of. And
right now I'm not as hyped on the new one that everyone. What's the one you love with the purple gloves?
First Night. First Night.
Yeah, everyone loves that. I'm not enjoying that. Batman Reptilian. I believe Leo
that
Sharp.
one. Yeah.
I did not enjoy that at all.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. But I like
I'm trying to think.
I like what the Black Label.
Two, really.
Yeah, I like what the Black Label banner does and what it allows for people, a creator, artists, and writers come in and just tell their own
stories
story.
that I loved from Black Label. The Catwoman story, Lonely City, I believe that was great.
Yeah.
Ram V, who I bash monthly about Detective, his Aquaman book is phenomenal. That's a good one too. I like Suicide Squad, Kill the Joker. I enjoyed that one, or Get the Joker. That was interesting. More often than not, they've been a hit. And I agree with everybody else. Black Label, clearly. White Knight, yeah, even though that's like a retroactive Black Label, right? Like,
yeah, the first one, retroactive Black Label. The others were released as Black Label. I've liked all that.
I feel like we were calling White Knight when it first came out Elseworlds, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. And it's kind of like that, it's kind of Elseworlds, but
I consider it Elseworlds. Yeah. Whatever they want to call it. I get the idea of the whole differentiation between the main continuity and this.
So besides the fact that the Batman books, the titles, legacy titles, man, I'm about to just bail out altogether on Batman. I just don't know if I can take any more of the fail-safe stuff. But and I haven't read Detective in so long, I can't even tell you the last story I've read. But Black Label stuff, yes. But so after this big event thing, this absolute power event, they're going to there's a new label, new banner. You know about this, I'm sure. You're a comic book guy. And I'm going to give credit to Bleeding Cool, bleedingcool.com. It's where I read this, kind of broke the story, I would say, because I saw all the articles I've read about it. It's based, they're sourcing Bleeding Cool. So the absolute DC Comics, not the absolute editions we already know, but it's under Scott Snyder.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of heading this up, and it's kind of, from what I've read and what being able to get from all the stories that I've read about it, or again, and they all go back to Bleeding Cool, so it's really the same thing. Is that it's kind of like Marvel's Ultimate line.
Okay. I'll just have to. Yeah, I will have to judge it when I read it.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder, flared out for me. At the end there, I didn't like
Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like his. I don't even know what it's called because I didn't like it. What was it? Death metal. I didn't like his metal. I wasn't into that stuff.
No, I wasn't.
Last Night on Earth, I did not enjoy. I dropped that really quickly.
Like I was Black Label.
Basically, even his New 52 run, Post Court of Owls. I mean, when he got, after Endgame, I think it was Robot Bunny Gordon. I wasn't into that.
Yeah.
Like I stopped reading Batman after that. So
super heavy.
Yeah, super heavy.
When they hit super heavy, that's when I kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? Here's my thing. And I believe I've spoken to this with Garrett, and I've spoken with Nath on this. Why can't Batman just be Batman? Why is Batman broke, Alfred dead, and why is he in a brownstone? Like, can Batman just be Batman? Why? He's been Batman for 80 years. Why the gimmicks? Just let them be. And that goes for Superman too. Like when Bendis decided to reveal it's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you choosing to be different? Just make Superman. Make Batman. That's all you got to do. That's it.
Yes.
Batman has limitations. He does not need to fall from the moon after fighting Terminator, wearing scuba gear onto Earth. Like he just, I don't want to see that even in a comic book. And I've been bringing that stuff up a lot lately. Like, what are you doing? Just make him back. Batman essentially is a private investigator. Can we get him back to basically being an off-duty cop and just doing things on the side? Like that's all he is. He's essentially a cop.
Did any of these people watch the Batman movie?
Did have any of these people been paying attention to Batman for the last 85 years? Yeah.
So that is my hope with this absolute DC, is that we're going to get back to the core elements of these characters.
Why does it have to be a whole new? Why can't it why are you making a new label? Why are you creating a new continuity? Do that with your main. I don't know the sales numbers of Batman and DC. I'd love to find out what they are because I'm very curious. Like, I don't like them. I know Lauer doesn't like them. I know a few people don't like, but are people still buying this? Are they still reading this? Because if these books are making money, then I'm clearly in the wrong here. Because right,
I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna say this about the absolute. It's not, according to Bleeding Cool, it's not editor driven. So you're not gonna have these.
Well, neither is it now.
Storylines. Wait. According to the article,
there's no Batman editor. There's a job posting for it.
Yes, but that's the whole thing. They are editor driven because there's an editorial mandate that goes out into these Batman titles, and they all have to follow through with it. And it's kind of like producer driven films. So that's a whole different topic. But it's supposed to be. To
be honest, like the past editor is not any good either because he killed whoever it was. They killed off Alfred like a moron.
Well,
Tom King didn't want to do that. They made him do that.
Exactly. Come
Their
on.
editors aren't any good.
That's what I'm talking about here. So it's not editor driven. It's a hands-off approach when it comes to creators, giving them carte blanche. And it kind of like All-Star did, All-Star Comics, kind of like the Earth One stuff was. But I guess the closest comparison that I've read.
So it's a reboot, but it's all connected.
It's
right, because like Earth One Batman doesn't interact with Earth One Superman or Wonder Woman or Green Lantern.
No,
I've read them. I don't think there's ever been a crossover between those books.
Yeah.
So this is basically that, but it's all connected. Is that what I'm trying to get?
I guess they say it's going to be like the Ultimate line at Marvel. Hey y'all, it's Bill Ramey, founder of Batman on Film. Let's take a quick pause in this podcast for these words from our sponsor.
Okay. I read Ultimate Spider-Man. I think it's very good. It's very different. It's very different. It's not like here, spoiler alert, Ultimate Spider-Man. If you're not reading it, fast forward. Uncle Ben's alive. He's friends with J. Jonah Jameson. Peter had no spider powers to begin with. Him and Mary Jane are married with kids. And he has to get his powers from Tony Stark of the future from another world. It's very different. Very different. It is very good, but you got to go in knowing it. Like I'm going into basically the reinvention.
Hold on. Go back to this Ultimate Spider. This is like
it's still phenomenal, but I'll tell you, it's really phenomenal storytelling. The storytelling's great.
It's the current version of Ultimate Spider-Man.
The new universe. This is all brand new. Number one.
That's what I'm saying. It's new. It's happening right now.
You're seeing it all unfold for the first time.
This is a new version of the Ultimate Marvel because they had it before.
The Ultimate 2.0, the different Ultimate. None of the Ultimate shit matters. This is all different.
Okay. Okay.
Total reboot.
Well,
this is basically like I guess their new 52 of their side stories.
Okay, as long as they don't drastically alter the core aspects of these characters, my interest is at least
good storytelling. Good storytelling.
That sells it. Because I don't know if I can go back. I don't care what this absolute power event does, which seems to be some kind of reset. They talk about like kind of reset, and then
it's no different than the dawn of DC, which came after New 52. Blah,
and
blah.
then there's this DC All In, which
we're apparently we're supposed to still be in the dawn of DC reboot of DC Comics. Well, guess what? The DC reboot is getting DC rebooted.
Jeez. Okay.
Look, if you're a fan of comic books, you've been through this 100 times already.
I am willing to give this absolute DC a shot, at least the Batman stuff. Because look, I like the Earth One stuff.
I liked them all. I thought they were great.
Yeah. And it's All-Star Batman.
I would like Earth One Volume 4, to be honest, kind of more than this.
Yeah. Did you like All-Star Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder?
The old Frank Miller, Jim Lee book.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I mean, the fact that we got the goddamn Batman out of it, it makes it already legendary. And remember when that came out? That was a huge, it was like Batman's making Dick Grayson eat rats. Like it was very controversial, and it never ended either. Unlike All-Star Superman. And then again, like All-Star Superman is now finally getting it's due by getting on live action because of Mr. Gunn.
I was going to say that All-Star Superman was probably the most well received and most successful of that All-Star.
I think it was only the
line.
two. Was there anything else?
I don't think so. But I mean, it's kind of revered. All-Star
Superman is. All-Star Batman's revered for all the wrong reasons.
I don't think All-Star Batman's revered. It's it flamed out,
Yeah, it bums me out. We never got a conclusion to that. I kind of always hoped that they would at least get together just to kind of end it, kind of end it on an open-ended thing.
Well, I think didn't Frank Miller say it's that he considers All Star Batman and Robin to be part of his Millerverse with
Yes,
year
yeah,
one and
that's kind of his
Dark Knight
origin of Robin.
Returns
Yeah.
and all that. Okay, so back to this absolute. I'm willing to give it a shot because I don't know if I can go back. I don't care what this with this absolute power event and changes stuff, and I can't. Another thing Bleeding Cool said is that a lot of the same creative teams are staying on with the regular, legacy titles, and
I don't know. I believe Ramey has an end with his detective run.
Okay.
I know Williamson's going to stay on Superman for a little bit. I think Williamson now is the Jeff Johns of his era. I think he's kind of steering the ship. If I'm wrong on that, someone correct me, but I feel like Williamson is kind of leading the way at DC. He's got multiple titles. He's kind of taken on that Jeff Johns type role. That's kind of just the vibe I've gotten. And I like Williamson's stuff. I think his stuff's pretty good. Some stuff hits with me more than others, but I have no problem with it. But it's like I say all the time, like comic books, it's like basketball. It's a game of runs. I'm just going to wait till this runs over and then I'll see. Cause I'm just waiting for the detective to end. That's it.
Okay.
But I'm reading Green Arrow and Green Arrow is great. So if you want vigilante based comic books,
here's what I'm at the point. Here's what I would like. This is just me. I certainly want the Black Label stuff to continue.
Yes.
Okay. I want that. I mean, I'm talking strictly Batman here because that's all I read. I may read something Superman every once in a while, but for the most
you're a big stretch guy, Plastic Man.
And stretch guys, yeah. Anything stretch guy and Batman.
Yeah.
I will read. Now, if you had some kind of big event where every stretch guy that ever was in DC got together and it was like like the Nightfall or Crisis of stretch guy stories.
Maybe call it Stretch Them Out. Stretch Them Out.
There you go. It's usually me and Lau are coming up with all these good ideas, but look at this one. Stretch it out. Yes.
Stretch it out.
Stretch it out for a year.
Plastic Man versus the Elongated Man, the showdown you've always wanted.
That, and you got Jimmy Olsen will be in there as Elastic Lad. They got a stretch girl in DC.
We can make one up for the book. We'll make it a character.
Well, all right. So with Batman, keep me the Black Label stuff. Keep that stuff coming in. I'll give this absolute DC a shot with Batman, but I don't know if I can go back to the regular, legacy stuff. I don't know how much, what are they going to do when they come back? Is they go back to is Alfred back and then
does he have his hand back too? Like, don't forget they cut off Batman's hand.
He's Steve Austin, the $6 million man. He's got a bionic hand or
robotic
Luke Skywalker, whatever in the hell. Luke Skywalker had one too. So
it's like I don't want to see Batman ever get punched in the face again if he's got a metal hand and can just catch everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on, give me a break.
Now
they cut off Batman's hand.
He's a cyborg.
Remember, he was back. You like that? They cut off his hand. They put a knife on the end of it, and he was running around that fake Gotham City. You enjoyed that. I'm blaming that one on you.
What one was that?
That was Zdarsky. Remember, they had that weird redhead Joker or whatever, and he wasn't the Joker. That's when they cut off the hand.
Yeah, it was
Rick Grimes.
It was okay. It was all right. That was
what
was that?
We got duped. It was the beginning and the end.
The Batman of Gotham. That wasn't that bad. It was okay. But I wish there was something like Legend of the Dark Knight would come back.
That came back for a little bit. That had a good run. Yeah,
and I wish that there was like a Batman comic book. I guess, well, it's not. I was going to say that Brave and the Bold is this, but it's not. It's not. So strike that. I wish there was a Batman title that came out every month that was just a one-off. Just a one-off. One story, one comic book. It doesn't have to be the same writer. It could be different writers, different artists. I don't care. But, take me back to the 70s.
Closest outside
80s.
of Black Label to get to that, I think, honestly, is the title. I think Batman and Robin and Batman 89 Echoes are the only titles like that are honestly just contained within themselves. Like the Batman and Robin title is very focused on Bruce and Damian and that experience, whereas Batman 89 is just focused on
Yeah, but they're
that. But
it's
they're
continue
kind
with
of-
story. There's stories that keep going on from issue to issue to issue to issue. It's freaking soap
Yeah.
opera. It's no, I'm talking.
But they-
you get a comic book, you open it up, you read it, and the
and
story
it ends.
ends at the end.
Mhm.
You know what was wrong with that? When I used to go buy them as a kid, or I read them off a spinner rack. You know, if I didn't buy it, I'd read it, but I'd buy the
I don't
Batman
mind.
one.
It's as long as it's not like this, like 12 or like something, and then there's delay. It all depends. Like I don't mind monthly to monthly reading books.
So you wouldn't
But if it's
you would not like a title, a Batman title where each month it came out and you were going to read a complete story that ended, nothing carried over. As far as story arc,
no, I would enjoy it.
line.
I would appreciate a mix and match, but I don't want to go through, let's say, oh, here, this title's coming out. Oh, like again, going back to Batman 89 Echoes, like the delays kill me for the book. Like if it's not released consistently, it's hard for me to even remember what I read last month, much less, oh, we're on a 3-month delay. I wouldn't mind it, but I like the variety. Like I wouldn't mind if a story went 2 issues. If it goes like 15, that's a bit much. But like, like I don't mind new guys coming in and being creative and throwing a shot of energy.
Everything else is, even the Black Label is for, and I'm not saying it, but it's for, 4 issues. I'm just talking about, I'm not asking for much. I'm talking about just one title.
Yeah.
One Batman title. I would love that. Like, look, the Joker's 5-Way Revenge. I always go back to that. It's like my favorite solo individual Batman story
it's all one
of all
book.
time. It had it had such an impact on me as a kid. I'm looking at it right now I got the original, but I had bought a facsimile cover for it. It's cool because it's got the ads and still the ads, but that cover, I don't know what the hell happened to it over the years. I read that book so many times, but I just remember, it's a hell of a story. It's in one book, one comic book, and it's a classic. The cover is probably the most famous Batman cover of all time.
Probably the greatest artist of all time.
And you could, I think me and Lauer talked about this, and I'll ask you, because I did that we talked about that issue on the Batman Book Club on his podcast. You could take the premise of the Joker's 5-Way Revenge. You can make an animated movie out of it, out of a single issue Batman story. You could take the premise and make a 70-minute animated DC film out of it. Instead of now, that's one issue, and now you got a lot of these movies are, freaking out, based on graphic novels or all these long ass stories. Gotham by Gaslight was a graphic novel. Now it was a one and done, but still the difference between a single issue monthly comic and a graphic novel, with got the length wise. So
yeah,
anyway.
I like Batman. I just want to read good Batman stories, whether it's 4 issues, 1 issue, or I don't know, 17. To be honest with you, just write good stories. I prefer to kind of have something short and sweet. To be honest with you, like. But then again, like I love buying omnibuses too. So like, I've got them all over. So I do enjoy long stories. I just want them good. Just make good stories.
Do you,
great good tale.
Since you're a fan of the Batman 89 comics, which
I might be the only one.
I thought the first one was like, it's okay. The second one, I read issue 1. I went, okay, I'm liking this. And then I got the next issue, and I was like, okay.
There's only been 2 issues, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought the second issue was a bit sloppy. But it's 2 issues in it.
It's wordy. It's sluggish.
It's not the best. I'll admit that. But then I'm not going to be like, 2 issues is done. So I'm done after 2 issues.
It does not feel like that world to me. And the first one didn't either. Anyway, but I was going to ask you.
I mean, you and Kowalski say that, and I'm telling you right now, well, that's what you get when Tim Burton's not involved. Like, I understand Quinones is trying to mimic the way things look from different eras, but like, let's be honest, Tim Burton's creative input is a huge thing, and the fact that he's not in there, are you really
Well,
surprised?
maybe I'm not talking about the aesthetic of the aesthetic. Yeah,
But even in tone of the right, like, I'm sure Burton had injected himself into that script at some point. He's part of the creative force of Batman 89 and Batman Returns. Like,
he did
Anton
with Batman.
as well. Like,
he did Batman Returns for sure. I mean, truth be told, and I'm giving Burton credit, credit where credit is due for Batman 89. But Batman 89 was very much a studio producer driven film.
Then maybe maybe we're missing Goober and Peters. Is that it? Like, should Sam Hamm contact them? I don't know, but you only have one person of that gigantic cog that made 89 the monster that it was, right? There's only one piece of that puzzle in this book. I'm not expecting, I'm not expecting this to be, it's to be, the essential sequel. But to me, it's just like, this is a nice little extension, as much as Batman 89 Returns that Star Wars writer guy is doing, picking up right. Well,
that's what I was going. Okay, this is what I was going to ask you. Since I'm
going to enjoy them both the same way. I'm telling you.
Are you going to read this novel, Batman?
Hell yeah!
Why wouldn't I? Batman.
I forget what it is. Batman The Return to 89. I don't know what it is. I pre-ordered it already. It'll be here in May, I believe. It's
Batman Returns again. No, that's not.
Yeah. Okay, sure. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's great. Batman Continues, or was that Nolan's second movie? I don't remember.
Oh my god!
But I'm all for it. Like, to me, I'm like, yeah. I don't expect that book to feel like it was written by Burton, Hamm, and
Batman Resurrection. Right? Well, if
that's it.
Batman Resurrection. I am of the opinion or the belief that if you're going to go down that road and revisit those worlds from those movies, they need to feel much more like it than the Batman 89 and Batman Echoes does. Batman 89 Echoes.
Okay. For my opinion. I could just say for me, visually, Quinones does enough to make me see visually things that are familiar.
Yeah, visually,
and then I just take Hamm's writing for what it is.
It's just it's the writing, it's the vibe. You didn't have this, all this sluggish, monotonous dialogue, well,
maybe that's where Burton and company or Peters or Goober stepped in, like that's what I'm saying. Like, I would have loved to got the band back together for something like this. I really would, but we only got one piece. So it is what it is. And hey,
I will say that first
not to read it, don't read it, but I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
That first Superman 78 was a much better attempt than Batman 89 was.
See, I think Superman 78 kind of got really weird at the end. Like, I love Vendetti. Like, we're very close on Twitter, but like, I'm not as high on 78 as some people. I think it kind of
the 78 part 2 with who did Brainiac show up in it? I haven't read any of that one.
Yes, he did.
Okay. I just know from reading Hobby's reviews that he wasn't a big fan of it, so I can't.
I actually like. I think it's called the Steel Curtain or the Man of Steel Curtain. Something like
that. The Steel Curtain. That's what it is.
I actually like that more than Volume 1. But really? it's really weird because, like, Jor-El's alive. There's I'm having fun with it, man. I don't know what just post 2016, I am really trying to just enjoy and if I don't like it, I don't like it. And that goes for a lot of things. Like, I can't remember the last time I watched Far From Spider-Man. I don't like that. I try to stay away from it, but I rewatch the Ramey movies. I rewatch 89. I can still enjoy BVS. I can't enjoy Justice League. I don't watch that. Like, it just, you watch what you enjoy and that's it. Like, I think that goes for everybody, like when I review Detective, it's hard for me sometimes because it's like, I feel like I'm just destroying this thing. I feel like I'm just being a jackass and saying horrible things, but I love Batman and I try to be critical. I don't enjoy it. I'm not enjoying it. And I'm telling you why I don't enjoy it. but it's
Well,
it's interesting.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
It's
the point
probably
of
the
a
only thing I
review.
read that I don't enjoy. It's for
That's
Ryan Lauer and the Batman Book Club.
that's well, y'all do that wrap up show, so
Yeah.
you're doing Alfred's
But then
work.
again, like, I'm not going to be some fraud on Twitter pretending to talk about something I don't know anything about. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not going to talk about,
absolutely. Yeah,
you won't catch me talking
absolutely.
about X-Men on Twitter because I don't know anything about them.
Well, we need to get more comic book talk every once in a while here on the social hour. But with this news about this absolute DC line and just my overall dislike, I don't know if that's the word, disinterest in the regular Batman comics that are being published right now.
Yeah.
At least this absolute gives me, other than Black Label, I mean, absolute, I'll give it a go and see if it's my thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe they make Batman so far out and different than
Right now,
what he
making
really
Batman
is.
far out is giving him Wayne Manor, Alfred in two hands.
Probably,
Like that,
probably.
that's far out Batman right now.
And if he would not go to the moon, if he did fall from it, it'd be incinerated. But, jeez, get me on that back. It's going to go down one day.
I just want you to know that's the same title that you said was good when they cut off Batman's hand. It's the same story.
I said that story, the Batman of Gotham was okay.
Oh, so
That was a jump the shark moment for me when Batman fell from the moon. Now I'm sure there's probably people out there thought that was the greatest shit they've ever read in their life. That's what they wanted out of Batman. Batman being on the moon in the first place and then falling from it, and then he survives because he's badass because he's a goddamn Batman. And then he's going to. Oh, there's one right now. You got to know about it since you talked to Lauer about it. It's this Batman. What is it? I was looking around on it. He's in some other freaking damn world, and it's a story going on in a comic right now.
Oh yeah, I didn't like it. I stopped reading it.
What is it called?
Batman Offworld.
There you go. That is
the most Kowalski book you could ever read.
That's not Batman. Come on. If you like that, get the hell out of here. Okay? Go read some damn Green Lantern or something. You can go with that space bullshit.
That would be too fitting. That would be too fitting.
The only time Batman is good when he is not on Earth was when he met Zur-En-Arrh for the first time back in the late 50s. The Super Batman of Planet X. Yes.
If I could get rid of one issue from Batman's history, it would be that one.
Have you ever read that story?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. It's awesome, isn't it? Let's make an animated film out of that one.
I'd give me Batmite any day over that stuff.
Batman gets transported to a different world, and there's a different Batman. The world is called Zur-En-Arrh. There's the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, and and Batman, Bruce Wayne Batman, gets Superman powers on this world. So it's like the opposite, It's like Superman from Krypton, Kal-El coming to Earth and getting the powers. Now Bruce Wayne goes to Zur-En-Arrh, and he's got all these powers. Yeah, there you go.
If they ever made this movie, he would be banging the old drum.
Let's get an animated movie about that one. All right,
banging the old drum.
God, I hope
with a wrecking ball.
And we'll get out of here. One Batman on film thing I will mention is that I hope that with this new DCU, that these animated DC films don't go away, because that's some of the best stuff that they've done is these animated films. And I'm talking about,
they've kind of taken a slight dip recently in the past 2-3 years, but it's still overall better than a lot of the things out there.
Overall, those films are some of the best. I mean, they've done some really good stuff. It's really good compared to, Marvel's hasn't done anything like this,
No, their animation stuff is not on par.
So I don't want that to go away. I know they talked about You know,
I don't think it will because
all
you're
connecting.
that's literally just that's fan stuff. That's
Yeah.
you know those animated movies. You know your audience for that. That's a very specific audience. I
Yeah,
don't think it's going
it is.
anywhere.
All right. So that'll do it. Tell us what you want out of Batman comics. If you're listening to this on Batman on Film proper, just go down, leave a comment down at the bottom. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can comment on YouTube. Shoot Pete an email. Where can they catch you on the email? Let's go to Twitter and talk to Pete.
Yeah, at Pete Illustrated. I have 2 podcasts. Straight Out of Gotham, straight_O_G, and Spidey Coalition. Check those out for news and Spider-Man stuff. I'm on Ryan Lauer's The Batman Book Club with Ryan and Brian Lauer, the 2 of them. We do that monthly recap show, and it's a lot of fun. All over BatmanOnFilm.com and Batman on Film YouTube and all those wonderful Batman on Film places. So.
Well, hopefully things will pick up when it comes to literally Batman on Film. We got the Penguin coming,
movie and a show coming, so things are going to start.
Got Penguin coming, and the movie will be here. It will get here.
Well, Joker too. Don't forget Joker.
And Joker, yes, Joker's coming. I know that's. I got that poster framed.
Nice.
Got it hanging in my collection now. All right, for me, Batman-on-film.com. Just go there. You'll find everything Pete mentioned, and everything else. And that's Rachel will finish up here. We'll catch you next time.
You have been listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official podcast on Batman on Film. Follow BOF on Threads at The Batman on Film. Follow BOF on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Batman on Film. To help keep BOF up and running, go to patreon.com/BatmanOnFilm, or you can buy BOF a beer at buymeacoffee.com/TheRealBatmanOnFilm. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, founded in 1998.
Say goodbye, Graceland.